Minister, you have just departed New York City. Can you tell us where you're heading to?
I'm on a train bound to Washington, where we have been invited to meet with State Secretary, Mr. Rubio. We have several matters to discuss there, but I'm quite happy to go forward in our journey. I think it's a very important invitation to be invited to Washington. I have with me Minister Sobers is here with us, Minister Padarat, and of course your good selves, Minister Salam Hussein, and there are other officials in the delegation journeying to Washington. When we get there, several areas for mutual interest to be discussed. Chief among those have to do with national security and safety. That's priority one on our discussion list. Thereafter, energy security is vital to us as well, with respect to the hydrocarbon resources that lie in our waters and on. We have also secured Minister Sobers a meeting with the
United States Trade Representative Office.
United States Trade Representative Office, in addition to Secretary Rubio, the trade aspect of it, where we want to discuss the tariffs to see how best we can make that work for us. In addition, we talk. Oh, go ahead.
And Prime Minister, how have you been enjoying your trip so far?
I don't know if enjoying is the proper word, because I think it's been a great trip. I think we made tremendous leaps and bounds in the first couple of days. I look forward to the Washington visit. I have been there before, but this visit is even more important than previous Washington hydrocarbon resources. So we look forward, all of us, as we journey. I think it's a 3-hour train journey. I trust we will have a nice meal and maybe get some of the rest before we get up into Washington. So any other questions, sir? No?
What do you tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago?
People of Trinidad, we miss you. We all miss you. And this trip has been, we look forward to returning to Trinidad and Tobago. We send love to all of TNT, and of course the sunshine there is much brighter. If you look out the window, it's a little bleak today, but so far it's been good for us. So thank you very much.
All right, welcome to Week in Review, Trinidad and Tobago. That was the Prime Minister, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, in the United States. It was for the United Nations General Assembly, which is set to conclude, and the Prime Minister is set to return to Trinidad and Tobago, come back home. And upon coming back home, budget, because October, we already, we only, 1 day away from October. What today is it, 29th? So I think it's 30 days, 31. How much days in this month? I'm feeling bad. 30 days. All right, so 30 days in the month of September. So budget is around the corner, so we gearing up for that. A lot of good things, ironically, also coming out of the Prime Minister going to the United Nations or going to the United States, meeting with the UAE, meeting with the United States, grants from the People's Republic of China. A lot. So Trinidad have a lot to look forward to. So pleasant good night to everyone joining across the globe right now in Trinidad and Tobago, in the Caribbean, as well as in the United States of America. Pleasant good night to all of you who are joining us on YouTube and Facebook. All right. So as we gaze up tonight, I don't know if I should go back to the past. I think that might be nice to go back to the past, but before going back to the past, I think it's only fair that we give Kamala Persad-Bissessar some credit and some pip, as we'd like to say, because Kamala Persad-Bissessar is given a global award, number one. We covered that on a later show, but she would have done her speech across in the United States because she could not journey to collect the award, but a People's Choice Award. And I said yesterday on Facebook that Kamala Persad-Bissessar is outmatching every single Caribbean leader. That will be Mia Motley, that will be St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ralph Gonzalez, that will be Ufun for president of Guyana. Trinidad and Tobago has something to look forward to. And we have a great Prime Minister to look up to. Because Kamala Persad-Bissessar, as leader of Trinidad and Tobago, is setting the stage, or setting the standards, I should say, for all world leaders right now, or CARICOM leaders. Not only will Trinidad and Tobago be a part of the Security Council, and that's the UN Security Council in 2027, per what Kamala Prasad-Bissessar stated, but our Prime Minister is given a People's Choice Award, right, as number 13 on the list. Let us hear from Prime Minister Kamala Prasad-Bissessar. Let's start the show off with some good news for Trinidad and Tobago. And then I think it's only right that we take a blast back to the past, particularly COVID-19, because the court ruled, I would say, against the Keith Rowley-led administration today. But before we go back there, let's enjoy our Prime Minister Kamala Prasad-Bissessar.
Good evening to the organizers, distinguished guests, and our Caribbean family across Africa, Latin America, Europe, and the diaspora gathered here tonight at the Cumberland Hotel in London. Thank you for being here. It is indeed a profound honor to accept the Caribbean Global People's Choice Leader Award 2025. I do regret not being with you in person. However, my duties at the United Nations General Assembly have called me to New York, where I carry the voice of Trinidad and Tobago and of our small island nations, speaking for resilience, fairness, and the dignity and future of our people, especially our children. Yet even as I stand on that world stage, my heart is here with you, because this award belongs not to me alone, but to all of us who believe that unity is our greatest strength. This honor is especially meaningful because it comes from the people. To all who voted in Trinidad and Tobago, across the Caribbean and beyond, your confidence humbles and inspires me. I thank the organizers and adjudication panel for showcasing Caribbean excellence and the strength of our small developing regions on the global stage. Your guiding motto, unity is strength, mirrors my own journey. I was born in colonial Trinidad into a poor family in the rural village of Siparia. My late mother Rita sold roti to support our family, whilst my father Lil Raj worked as a bookkeeper. From those humble beginnings to becoming the first woman Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, I learned that leadership is not a privilege, but a duty to serve. Throughout 4 decades of public service, I have sought to turn compassion and equality into action. As Prime Minister from 2010 to 2015, my government created the Insurance Life Fund. We advanced universal secondary education, we reformed the SEA, and we provided laptops for every student, and we also expanded higher learning. Now, in my renewed term, we continue that mission, revitalizing the economy, modernizing energy, and advancing digital transformation, and ensuring governance that is transparent, inclusive, and centered on people's lives. Tonight's celebration is more than an award. It is a reminder that recognition must serve a purpose. Even when progress feels like 2 steps forward and 1 back, we must keep faith, choosing evidence over noise, dignity over cynicism, inclusion over indifference, and truth over silence. If I may leave one request tonight, it is this: lift up one vulnerable child. Show them that they can lead. Open the doors of your classrooms, your workplaces, your creative spaces, and let them see what is possible. Share with them the struggles of past generations, so they know resilience is our inheritance. Our ancestors forged democracies from broken colonial fragments, from stolen lives, from stolen dignity, and from stolen heritage. And yet still, they endured so that we could rise. In lifting the most vulnerable, we transform talent into leadership, hope into history, and ensure the promise of our countries and the survival of our generations to come. I accept this award on behalf of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, our workers, our creators, and above all, our youth, whose imagination will carry the Caribbean boldly into the future. To my fellow honorees, congratulations to all of you. Your achievements prove that when courage meets collaboration, together we shine brighter. May you all enjoy this extraordinary evening, and may we, in faith and unity, keep building societies where hope lives, progress endures, and our people shine brighter with every generation. I thank you, and may God continue to bless each and every one of you.
And that is a Prime Minister for all, a Prime Minister with class, a Prime Minister that we all can look forward to, that young women and even young men in Trinidad and Tobago could look forward to, or to becoming basically, and that is being a Prime Minister that is not only recognized by Trinidad and Tobago, but a Prime Minister that is also recognized internationally and in the Caribbean. The People's Prime Minister, Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Amazing, amazing speech by Kamla Persad-Bissessar, and she would have pointed out some of the accolades that she have, you know, that she gave to Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar once more. All right, so stay tuned. When we come back from this commercial break, we're going to go over pretty much some of the accolades and some of the things that we were fighting for, us in the UNC were fighting for at the time as well. So when we return, the pepper start. Keith Rowley, don't forget you locked out citizens out of this country for COVID, and we're going to get to that and what the court's saying right after this.
Listen, we need stronger advocacy for our members.
Enough talk. We have to go to court.
Focus on the mental and the physical health. Every day is RIP.
Everyone's voice needs to be heard. Communication is a two-way process.
We need to be financially viable. The members must know that their dues are benefiting them.
Team, we can do this. It's time. We can accomplish all of this.
October 14th, it's time for the Tutor Rebirth. It's time to come together, together we are tutor. It's time to start over, together we are tutor. Come on, you need a team strong and unified, who understand the teacher's plight. Deserve better, we say. Upgrades, insurance, and just pay. Come October 14th, vote and vote. You must vote the rebirth team. It's time to come together. Together we are tutor. It's time to start over. Together we are tutor. Think about your experience. Does it mix? Are you fed up with nonsense? Bring your friends and your colleagues. Cast your vote for the rebirth. Everybody, come on! It's time to come together. Together we are tutor. Toss it down. It's time. Make your vote time to start over. Together we are tutor. With Crystal is clear to see, a man of integrity. Dwaraka, back on spot, he's giving it all he got. Say Nigel Figaro, and watch your problems go. To fulfill the member plan, if anyone say I can. Dylan has the key to financial transparency. Communication, creativity, put me girl aside, but that's me. It's time to remember your struggle and your pain. Fed up and nonsense, time for change. All your friends, colleagues, your team. Cast your vote, let us live the dream now. It's time, calling. Time to start over together. We have to vote. It's time, everybody, time to come together. We are tired of only seeing same. Rebirth the future, remember the name. Rebirth, colleagues, stand up and vote. Let us keep this boat afloat. It's time, time to come together. We are It's time now, time to start over together. We are Hey, time to vote, come for the rebirth. It's time to vote, everybody. Vote for the rebirth. Time to vote, cast your vote. The rebirth, October 14th, vote the rebirth.
What if we told you that one course could boost your child's performance in every SCA paper? That's why Learn Smart TT has created an online comprehension and poetry course. This is completely self-paced with all tools accessed online. It's 30 passages, 30 poems. They can be downloaded or answered on our site. From there, students get access to answer sheets that have detailed options of how the answers could have been written. No other product on the market has this. In addition, they get access to a video tutorial with an expert teacher walking them through the passage or poems using high visuals and techniques to ensure they derive meaning. Also, we model how we derived each answer so they can do the same. If you want your child to enjoy all of these benefits and propel in comprehension, SCA, and general academic life, click the link above and register for this course and join hundreds of parents and students who are benefiting.
Wait. Have you heard the big surprise is near? Our SNS Passage supermarket is having our anniversary sale. And you want to know the best part of it? It is the same weekend as our Republic Day. So come on down, get double the vibes, double the savings, and double the deals. But don't wait for the weekend to start celebrating. Come on down, our flash sale is going on right now in store. So grab your bargains today. Come on down, anniversary and Republic Day weekend for more savings.
Welcome back, Trinidad and Tobago. Listen, I want to take you all to the past. I mentioned that I want to go back to the past, and I want to go back to the past for a reason tonight. I know that we should be looking to the future, and a lot of persons say that Trinidad and Tobago should be looking at the future, and we should not be going back to the past for anything. But I want to be certain tonight to go back to the past simply because the PNM feel as though, and per what Keith Rowley said, that the PNM administration was the best administration for Trinidad and Tobago. And I want to make sure and tell Rowley that you were the perfect administration to not only make the rich richer, but also for the poor in the future. Because every single thing that happened under the Keith Rowley-led administration that people go to court for today seemed to be a winning case. COVID-19, for all the persons that the PNM, Keith Christopher Rowley, locked out of the country, today Trinidad and Tobago were different. Go to pictures. Today different. Run that. You all remember this, right? You all remember all of the protests, myself, Kingsley, God, Christopher, God, this picture infamous, boy. And then, you know, we made front page. In fact, they put my face on front page, right? Let me see if I find the front page, because I think the front page is in this. Let me see. Let me see if the front page here, it should be here. Well, no, the front page of the newspaper, not in the images here, but that made front page news. You remember how long persons were locked out of the country for, and persons were asking to come back home, right? And they were asking to be repatriated, come back home, and Stuart Young said no. 311 days locked out by Stuart Young. Today, Trinidad and Tobago, today, let me tell you, the appeals court ruled on this matter and suggested that the PNM was unconstitutional, that the government back then was unconstitutional in locking out the people. I want to go to the appeals court. Listen to what the appeals court say. This is today, Trinidad and Tobago, and I want you to know, and I want the PNM to know, that when they come out, when Keith Rowley coming out to tell you about gas, and when Stuart Young coming out to tell you that this is what this administration do in terms of gas and all kind of thing, every single decision that the PNM has ever made has always been for the PNM. And there's a reason why now, when you take them to court, or cases back then coming up now, and the court is giving out millions of dollars. If you want to become a millionaire, you should have sued the state in 2020. Take a listen.
The Court of Appeal has delivered a landmark ruling on a constitutional challenge arising from the government's 2020 COVID-19 border closure policy. The judgment in the case of Lorick and Pantin versus the Attorney General centered on the state's administration of the travel exemption system for nationals stranded abroad. The court unanimously ruled against the state, finding that the Minister of National Security's failure to publicly disclose the criteria for granting exemptions was unconstitutional. Former Attorney General Anand Ramlogan SC joins us via telephone this evening to tell us more about this historic and landmark judgment. Good evening, Mr. Ramlogan.
Good evening.
All right, so we want to get right into it. The court has called this historic and a landmark judgment. Can you elaborate a little bit for us as to what specific legal precedent this sets for constitutional rights, especially as it relates to liberty and freedom of movement in Trinidad and Tobago?
Yeah, well, the genesis of this matter, you may recall, is when during the COVID-19 pandemic, we had closed our borders on a very sudden basis. And whilst that decision would have been understandable at the time, when the decision was made to reopen the borders, the government did not publish any criteria to guide persons who were stranded overseas and desperate to return home as to how they will decide who is going to come home and when. So that meant that there was a secret criteria. The factors that the then Minister Stuart Young was taking into consideration was something that only he alone knew. And we had filed cases for Ms. Joanne Pantin and Rihanna Lorick. One was seeking medical attention abroad at the time, and Ms. Lorick was visiting her grandchildren. And of course, when the borders were closed, with limited funds that you would have budgeted to spend a limited time on a trip overseas, money ran out. And so many hundreds of our citizens were stranded, and Trinidad's government turned its back on them because they were rendered homeless, living in homeless shelters in parks. And when the borders were reopened and they felt they would get some relief to come home, they were not told what was the criteria and what really was the factors that the minister would consider. No one can forget Ms. Joanne Pantin's video to then Prime Minister Keith Rowley, her distressed, traumatized face, begging and pleading to be allowed to come back home and questioning, well, how is it others are being allowed to come back home and I am not? The fact of the matter is, those who are rich, powerful, had strong political connections, financiers, friends of the ruling party, they were secretly being allowed to return to Trinidad, whilst persons who couldn't afford to remain outside were being kept there in the dark not knowing how, when, why, and if they will ever be able to return home. This is an indictment on the government's management of the reopening of the borders. It was, the court described it as the epitome of arbitrariness. And what it did is to provide fertile soil by this mystery and secrecy. It provided fertile soil for political bias and discrimination to operate, so that what you had, the population must remember, there are many mothers and fathers who died overseas because they grieved to return home, but many also died because they were...
And imagine, a lot of persons died grieving just to come back home. And imagine as well, persons like Hadassah Charles McLeod, co-host of Real Talk Corner, she was locked out of the country as well. See, they should have sued the government back then. If you couldn't come in, 311 days locked out, you should have sued the government. That's what they should have done. They should have sued the government of Trinidad and Tobago. That is what... Right? They should have sued the government. And then they would have a lot of money today. But anyway, I want you all to also know, run it. Because there's a proud moment now. We win. What's that? Pause that picture. Look at it. Pause it quick. Press the pause. Pause. Oh, God. Say, this man. Pause it. No, lovely. What's that? That is a proud picture, you know, boy. Not that one, but the other one is a proud picture, boy. It's not proud of no people. Yeah, watch this one now, boy. This is hardcore, anyway. That's a blast of the past. Come back to that. Well, you're laughing, studio, and I'm proud about that picture. But I want to take you all back to the past one more time, right? Play that video for my director. Go ahead. This is with Vicky Rampersad. Listen, we did a lot back then, you know. Go ahead.
David Welch of Trio TT was arrested for not sending the people home. David was arrested for not sending the people who were here to protest home. You hear that, Trinidad and Tobago?
We are out here in the streets of Port of Spain, sending a message to the government that we the citizens, we are pleading and asking, we are begging, whatever word you may want to call it, for justice. We want the government to put things in place to protect the citizens, the tax-paying citizens in Trinidad and Tobago.
People that are here, so you see what's happening, ladies and gentlemen.
Justice!
This is what they're asking for.
Justice! No! Justice! No!
You can see the amount of people that are out here right now to demand justice for Ashanti, Andrea, and also Richman, all women that were killed. We also want a speedy judiciary system. That's not it. That's not the border video. But anyway, we will protest. We will protest all them. We will protest. But I'll make that available. You know what? Yeah, scroll back a little bit. Take off the video. Take off the audio. Play the video. Go on. Do quick. 14, number 14. Scroll down. Yeah, pull it down a number. Go up. Or I get this director a chance. Go ahead, run it. Just let that play out a little bit. Let me see. Watch now. I will get arrested back then, boy. All they feel this joke thing, boy. Watch that, boy. All they know that day I ain't do nothing. There was wicked. I'm telling you, there was wicked. There was wicked back then.
That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. They just arrested David Welch for the protest. Watch out. Listen, watch. David has been arrested. Listen. Bravo, police officers. You have just what a criminal. Watch out, all you. All you feel good now. Are you happy, right?
Oh God, boy. That was our time in Trinidad and Tobago. That was our time there, boy. Oh God, reminiscing on the past, boy. But play the pictures again for me, because after that one was ironically for Ashanti. Play it. That one was ironically for Ashanti Riley. But this one here, Trinidad and Tobago, this and Kamala Persad-Bissessar, was there again, a leader with vision and a leader for all. Went to the parliament and she spoke about it in the parliament and stuff like that. And now, how much years later? 5 years later, almost 6 years later, finally justice for them people. Imagine that. 6 years later, and finally, the people get some sort of justice. I'm still in court, but anyway. I'm still in court. But anyway, so that was that Trinidad and Tobago. When we come back from this commercial break, I want to go to this. All right, so our GDP contracted by 2.1%, and the Prime Minister going to have a lot to do. So when we come back, we will get to that. Stay tuned, Trinidad and Tobago. We will be back right after this.
The only presidential choice for Tutor election 2025.
It's time to come together, together we are Tutor.
I'm an educator since 1993. 32 years in this noble profession, from OJT at Valencia to ATP at Kumaka, T1 at Malabar, head of department at Valencia South, principal at Barataria, and now SS1 at Northeastern Education District. I've served both tutor and Ministry of Education at all these different levels throughout my years. Let's talk accolades. I joined Tutor shortly after becoming an assistant teacher. I served as a staff representative, as a zonal convener. I served as the district executive of St. George's Education District. I also served as the Conference of Delegates, which is the highest decision-making body in Tutor. To me, Tutor and the Ministry of Education go hand in hand. They both work to serve the nation's children to ensure that they receive the best quality education that is available. And Tutor would have allowed me to develop into the individual that I am today. In addition to that, I would have served as a principal, as the principals at the NAPSPA, the National Primary School Principals Association. I also would have been the president of the Association of Principals of Catholic Schools, the principal involved in Sports Council, actually the chairman of the Sports Council of the St. George's Education District, and many more. All of these leadership roles would have been guided by what I would have learned, the principles and so on, in Tutor, and all the leadership roles Tutor would have allowed me to be part of and grow and develop myself. My leadership philosophy is rooted in servant leadership. I believe in leading by example, not position. I also believe in listening before speaking, and I always put persons before myself. If elected, I intend to lead with humility, empathy, and strength, because I have experienced the same things that you have experienced as a teacher, as a principal, and now as a school supervisor. Allow me to represent you as your president, Crystal Bevan-Ash. I present myself to you as the next president of Tutor. I am you, you are me, we are Tutor.
October 14th, it's time for the Tutor Rebirth.
Wait. Have you heard the big surprise is near? Our SNS Bazaar supermarket is having our anniversary sale. And you want to know the best part of it? It is the same weekend as our Republic Day. So come on down, get double the vibes, double the savings, and double the deals. But don't wait for the weekend to start celebrating. Come on down, our flash sale is going on right now in store. So grab your bargains today. Come on down, anniversary and Republic Day weekend for more savings.
If your child doesn't understand what they read, SCA becomes 10 times harder. That's why Learn Smart TT has created an online comprehension and poetry course. This is completely self-paced with all tools accessed online. It's 30 passages, 30 poems. They can be downloaded or answered on our site. From there, students get access to answer sheets that have detailed options of how the answers could have been written. No other product on the market has this. In addition, they get access to a video tutorial with an expert teacher walking them through the passage of poems using high visuals and techniques to ensure they derive meaning. Also, we model how we derived each answer so they can do the same. If you want your child to enjoy all of these benefits and propel in comprehension, SCA, and general academic life, click the link above and register for this course and join hundreds of parents and students who are benefiting.
So a police officer would have resigned after his mother's death, and he took to social media to vent his frustration, and the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is now more so distancing themselves while sympathizing with the officer, but noting that this is not the way in which the matter should be handled, and it's also being investigated. So I want to take you to that clip with that officer. The backstory is that this officer would have gone to the police station to say his mother was missing. And apparently, according to him, the police service did nothing. He would have also provided some follow-up information as to where his mother was, and he would have found some whereabouts. And they supposedly did nothing as well, and he found his mother dead, hanged. She, quote unquote, or allegedly hung herself at the beach, committing suicide. He doesn't think it's a suicide, as the information at least that I have. And he now resigned, and he resigned in a very bold way, according to him. He walked into the police station as a police officer and alerted them walking out, he will no longer be a police officer, and he vented his frustration with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. And the Deputy Commissioner of Police is reminding the public that they would want to handle this in a very professional manner. They are aware of the video circulating on social media, and they actually said it's an unauthorized release of misleading information or speculative commentary into the public domain. and quote, which has the potential to erode public confidence and interfere with investigative processes. As such, according to the DCP, this matter will continue to be addressed through appropriate internal and legal channels in keeping with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service regulations and due process. He said that the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service remains dedicated to professionalism, transparency, and safety and security of all citizens, somewhat, is what I'll say. We thank the public for its patience, support, and understanding as we handle this sensitive matter with the seriousness it deserves. I only hope so, yes, but this is the video.
And these are the points I've been trying to make. I made a decision yesterday, and I handed over my badge and ID. I told them in the station, book me in as a police and book me out leaving as a civilian. I don't want to part of this entity again. Yesterday evening, I'm not upset of the actions. Lo and behold, this morning, the police reached here to retrieve uniform. They couldn't come or go and look for my mother. Yesterday evening, I drop off the badge. They come this morning for what? For my uniform. They couldn't come when my mother was missing. They get instructions to come for my uniform. And that instruction will come from Port of Spain by the top highest level of supervision, I want to believe. Or the most senior person within the division, who have not even reached out to me to see my well-being or how I'm doing. But they can send people for uniform. I couldn't care about that uniform. I don't give up my badge already.
Right. So that matter is being investigated according to the Deputy Commissioner of Police. And yeah, I don't even know what to say in that matter. I've been trying to stay away from that matter, ironically. But yeah. Anyway, Trinidad and Tobago has signed an agreement with the United Arab Emirates, allowing diplomatic and official passport holders to enter visa-free or UAE visa-free. I think we need one with Europe. Oh God! So we could go to UK. I think they need to reestablish that again. All right. But anyway, so UAE citizens holding diplomatic, special, ordinary, and mission passports are now exempted from visa requirements for entry to Trinidad and Tobago. However, the agreement is significantly more limited for Trinidad and Tobago nationals, as all other passport types, including those issued by ordinary citizens, still require a visa to enter the UAE. I would ask for a diplomatic passport, and I could travel a little, diplomatically across the state. What do you say? Anyway, so central bank reports GDP contracted by 2.1%. Randy, you're on it, yeah. So according to the central bank, in its September monetary policy announcement, the Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago indicated that real gross domestic products contracted by 2.1% during the first quarter of 2025. This is according to the Central Statistical Office, that is really hard to say, compared to the same period of 2024. I wanted to get the clip, come back, of the Dwen saying that our economy is booming. I really wanted to get that clip, where Dwen Burt said that the economy is booming. And Madam Speaker, consistently, the economy is booming, Madam Speaker, despite the IMF reports on Trinidad and Tobago. So, the central bank indicated that there were declines in both the energy and non-energy sector of run the videos, of 4.8% and 1.0% respectively. But it is the PNM via Stuart Young that want to come and say that what Kamala, in pictures it should be there, Kamala doing with the UAE, okay, not there, but what Kamala doing with the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, and signing gas deals, claim sake, is PNM set it up. But if it is PNM set it up, let me ask Stuart Young, why is it the central bank is saying that there were declines in both the energy and non-energy sector of 4.8% and 1.0% or 1% respectively. And then preliminary data from the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, which is obviously pre-budget data, suggests mixed performance heading into the second quarter of 2025. The report stated in April of 2025, natural gas production fell, not rose, that's Stuart Young. It fell by 2.1%, with crude oil production registered a small increase of 0.3%. The petrochemical industry, according to the central bank, recorded expansions in ammonia of 6.9% and urea of 26.7%, but there was a noticeable decline in methanol output of minus 28.1%. The next monetary policy is scheduled to be released in on December 31st, 2025. But if it is, again, help me understand this, if Colum and Burt, or Dwen Burt, or Dane Riot Yet Burt, saying that Trinidad and Tobago recorded booms and surpluses, how do I not hear? How is it not stipulated here in this quarterly report by the central bank? Is it that the central bank under its former regime was lying to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and every single time Colum Imbid registered a boom and a surplus, it was a lie? Is it that it had political biasness with the central bank and how they read reports to the people of Trinidad and Tobago? Is that so? Because now, under a new administration, you're telling me that Kamala here for 4 or 5 months, going on to 5 months, right? And suddenly we register contracted GDP by a significant 2.1% in its first quarter of 2025, which would be directly a fallout from the PNM. Because you have the other papers, Colum and Burt. Look at that. Yeah, no. In this. Because it is Colum and Burt that now saying to the people of Trinidad and Tobago that Trinidad and Tobago is going to see a $15 billion deficit. If Colum and Burt is projecting a $15 billion deficit, what they do to this economy? What PNM did to this economy? That's a real question. Because they are the ones, Trinidad and Tobago, that continued or extended contracts just days before the election. How much more of that happening? They did it for CPEP. They did it for URP, extended contracts. They did it for Foster Cummins, where Foster saw significant increases. And he got an extended contract, allegedly, just days before the 2025 election, April 2025. How is it, though, that if it is, our GDP is contracted, how and why is it Keith Christopher Rowley, former Prime Minister, goes to the Parliament and expand their pay in terms of their pension? How that possible? How is it possible that they go to the Parliament, slash all sorts of things out of the procurement legislation to allow for government spending of how much ever they want? How is it that we even building a central block or a block D of the Port of Spain Hospital for almost $1 billion? If it is that we have no money, is this man? A $15 billion deficit is the story here by the the Diego Martin, Northeast MP and former Finance Minister, Colum and Burt. And he's the deputy political leader of the PNM, which tells me that Penelope Beckles she's not really fostering any type of change, right? So it is PNM deputy political leader and former finance minister Colum and Burt, he stated that information is reaching him suggesting that the 2025-2026 budget would see a deficit of $15 billion, the largest in the country's history. Inbert warned that it is his... he warned if his figure is correct, it would spell disaster for the economy. He said, quote, I'm hearing it's 15 billion, could be 20 billion. If it is, or if it's in that range, it means that our debt is going to skyrocket. It is not good for us, but I thought they had the answer and they are going to balance the budget. So I'll wait to see. Maybe that's a rumor. This is hogwash. Because you can't expect that the UNC now coming into power after 10 years and you telling us that, quote, you thought they had all the answer in terms of the UNC had all of the answers in balancing the budget when you mess it up so much. When you spent billions of dollars and borrowed billions of dollars, China borrowing the billions from China for COVID, you borrowed billions of dollars. This one is a good story. Don't mess me up here. This is actually under us. We're going with this director. But this story, Embit, don't forget this. You borrowed $1.4 billion from China, talking about it have fewer conditions, as opposed to going to Washington, D.C., the United States. You did that. So when GDP contracts, maybe it is Trinidad and Tobago that the central bank wasn't always telling us the truth. And we did not know the full truth. We knew that the economy was bad. Everybody could have told you the economy was bad. Doubles went up. Unfortunately, that is how Trinidadians does base it. Right? Doubles went up under the PNM. Flour went up under the PNM. Rockhard left Trinidad and Tobago. Man, Uber smelled the coffee as soon as I come here and Uber say, yeah, I gone. Since, when, 2014? No, 2016 around there. 2015, 16 around there. Uber left, or 2017. Like, these people smell the coffee and they smell the rat. And PNM, Column and Burt, they messed up this economy badly. But you're talking about Kamala have the plan. And Imbert said, quote, I thought they had all the answers and they were going to balance the budget. Don't worry, Trinidad and Tobago. Don't worry. Don't worry too much. Because in everything bad, which is this, in everything bad, there will be some good. There will be semblance of good in everything bad. And yes, Kamala Persad-Bissessar and the United National Congress needs to balance the budget. And they said, quote, there will be some good things coming out of the budget. Dave Tanku stated to the people that some people are going to like it, some people not going to like it. You'd have people that like him, have people that don't like him. On both sides, I think it's only fair that you're going to have the both. But in order for this budget to be balanced properly, the country needs to diversify badly. And it is only under Kamala Persad-Bissessar. And take a major look at the trend right now. Kamala Persad-Bissessar is significantly pushing diversification for Trinidad and Tobago. Now, while we cannot completely move away from oil and gas and our natural reserves, Kamala Persad-Bissessar in the parliament recently did expand the pool of diversification for Trinidad and Tobago through sports. There's a major field to tap into when it comes to sport tourism in Trinidad and Tobago. Not only that, but Kamala Persad-Bissessar in her trip, which is why the UN trip is so significant right now, because a former prime minister will go to the UN, fly out, go to Ghana to walk Obe and then bring in yam for Trinidad and Tobago. This prime minister is going to the UN to bring in goodies in terms of not only diplomatic relations, but also monetary donations, or let me not just call it donations, but monetary progress or economical progress for Trinidad and Tobago. And Kamala Persad-Bissessar spoke about medical medical tourism as well. It is still one of her mandates, which is why she is significantly adamant about reopening, not only just reopening, but enhancing the Coover Children's Hospital and bringing it back to what it's supposed to be for medical tourism in Trinidad and Tobago, which should and could and would bring in foreign exchange. Not only that, but education is a major aspect for Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, because it's not just about balancing the budget today, but balancing the budget for the future. If Trinidad and Tobago is to continue along the chain that we're going now with the consistent borrowing, case in point, we have to pay back that $1.4 billion. How are we going to do that? It is not going to be done under the Kamala-led administration now. It is going to be done under future administrations. We cannot continue the way that we are. If we were under PNM, those schools would still be left unbuilt. Here's the tough thing, or the tough pill to swallow. Here is the tough pill to swallow by the Kamala Prasad, or for Kamala Prasad-Bissessar and that administration and the UNC administration. Not only do they have to balance, if it is Column it is correct and the country really foreseeing a $15 billion budget, Kamala Prasad-Bissessar's job becomes harder for her, and to leave behind a legacy, the legacy is on the line right now. Because not only do you have to look at education and really enhance education for all across Trinidad and Tobago in terms of school development, sports development for Trinidad and Tobago, cultural development for Trinidad and Tobago, but you also have to really balance the budget for this generation here. And you really need to provide goodies for the people right now, because 2030, the people might say, Trinidadians real short-sighted. So we will say, or they would say, to hell with UNC. All they can't do, all they say, what all they're going to do, despite the government doing all for Trinidad and Tobago right now. The first thing that Kamala Prasad-Bissessar did when she came into office, not only was it, well, you know, the get rid of change the Pension Act for the Prime Minister, but the first substantial law was the Constitutional Amendment Bill, which seek to expand the pool of talent again to allow for sport tourism in Trinidad and Tobago, which will better enhance not only CPL, but also football, and allow for more people to come to Trinidad and Tobago and participate in our sports and global sports and represent Trinidad and Tobago. We have a whole cycling ring. We have traveling. We birthed real talented people from Trinidad and Tobago, and under PNM for the past 10 years, they have squandered that even in the educational sector. We are only birthing criminals and ISIS members in the regards to Umar Abdullah. Forgive my Umar, but you know it's true. All right? Going across to ISIS to fight war. That's it. That's what we have birthed in Trinidad and Tobago in the last decade, 20 years. And that's all Trinidad and Tobago really birthing. Now that we have Kyron, Dwayne on the way out. Well, no, not Dwayne. Kishon on his way out, right? Some persons are on the way out, and we have nothing to offer the next generation. Who we offering the next generation? What are we offering them? Tell young people here today in this studio, what are we offering them? Me? I could play sports. No, but seriously, what are we offering the next generation? If you all were to look for yourselves right now and say, this is what I could live or look forward to in Trinidad and Tobago, you seen anything? One say no and she knew. You seen something, because you could fly out. But I can't see anything. Even content creators, Jamel Sampson, if it is KFC, Popeyes, or whoever sponsoring him now decide to say, hey, well, I think we make enough money, or we're changing up, we're going to invest in somebody else. What's going to happen with him? Thankfully, he creates certified scoops, so he has something to look forward to. But what about the rest? Yeah, raw talk, just engaging in raw, nasty talk on social media. You have Kiesel Jackson, who is here, there, and everywhere. She foot in everybody tub. What you have again in Trinidad to look forward to? You have comedians that not even getting any promotional deals because government refused, former government again, refused to tell TikTok, hey, you want to take we content and send it viral, pay we content creators. It's not even that much. Out of 1.4, 1.5 million people, you probably have maybe 30 of the most, or less than 30, 10 of the most prominent content creators right here in Trinidad. Probably 10. Certified Samson, there's all of us watch. But come on now, man. We have nothing that we could talk about substantial growth for Trinidad and Tobago's economy simply because you have leaders back then, I dare to say today, that refuse to see what Trinidad and Tobago have and market Trinidad and Tobago. It is again Kamala Prasad Bissessa. She's one of the first to talk about cocoa and coconut and exporting coconut. How long it take PNM to say the steel pan is our national instrument, and I doubt even pass laws to ensure it's our national instrument. How long? How long must Trinidadians beg? How long must we go to the United States and hear, oh, you're from Jamaica, because you refuse to market Trinidad and Tobago and put Trinidad and Tobago on the map? How long? Why is it that under the black man, we don't even have soca monarch, but so they're complaining about the Indian and complaining that Kamala Prasad Bissessa is a racist, but it's under your own watch as a black man that soca monarch gone and dismantled. Dr. William Monroe, how the very thing that black people could look forward to, or everybody in Trinidad and Tobago could look forward to, soca monarch, gone like that, simply because of poor management and a set of thieves and corrupted SOBs in government back then that was just doing whatever it is they wanted to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. But you all complain, and then you all listen to these people talk about 15 billion deficit, and they say they're going to balance it. Let me see how they balance it. It's your fault. I ain't understanding this. If people look at this budget coming up, I hope to God it have good things in the budget, but I want to see what the deficit is at, because it is not, the deficit is not accumulated under UNC. UNC still working with the 2024 budget. We're still working with that. We ain't passed a budget yet to say, all right, this is our expense. And even as we pass a budget and say this is our expense, we still, or the government still working with a PNM economy, because this is a PNM economy. But we'll talk about oil and gas. And we are the ones that went to the UAE. And we are the ones that did this and did that and did the other. No. You all are the ones that run down Dragon Gas. You all run down the Dragon Gas. Dragon Gas ain't coming no way for Trinidad and Tobago. Kamala Prasad Bissessa needs to make a decision. It's either A, we with China, or B, we with the United States. Which one we need the most? Which one we need the most? China giving $94 million. Oh, hooray, we budget fix, apparently. Stay tuned, Trinidad and Tobago. We'll be back after this.
Whether your child is topping the class or just keeping up, stronger comprehension skills gives them the edge. That's why Learn Smart TT has created an online comprehension and poetry course. This is completely self-paced with all tools accessed online. It's 30 passages, 30 poems. They can be downloaded or answered on our site. From there, students get access to answer sheets that have detailed options of how the answers could have been written. No other product on the market has this. In addition, they get access to a video tutorial with an expert teacher walking them through the passage or poems using high visuals and techniques to ensure they derive meaning. Also, we model how we derived each answer so they can do the same. If you want your child to enjoy all of these benefits and propel in comprehension, SCA, and general academic life, click the link above and register for this course and join hundreds of parents and students who are benefiting.
Welcome to SNS Facade Group of Companies, a dynamic community-driven group serving multiple industries with excellence and integrity. At SNS Facade Supermarket, we're committed to community, providing vessel export delivery, custom food services, local delivery, wholesale solutions, fresh produce, in-house bakery, and premium meats. Discover relaxation reimagined at Sunset Beach Resort, with beachfront stays and dining that blends local flavor with ocean views, perfect for families and couples. At Cuts and Curve Fitness Center, where health meets lifestyle, with personal training, meal plans, a full gym, and on-site cafe. The SNS Facade Group of Companies, building value, trust, and community across everything we do.
And I have just completed a meeting with the Secretary General of the UN, where we were in solidarity with many of the issues that have been raised over the past week. Many of the issues have been common from several delegations: climate change, gender equity, safety, security, financial security, food security, all these areas. SG just pledged solidarity and support for these initiatives, and I think we had a very successful time here at the UN. Several initiatives we've achieved outside of the UN with respect to bilateral agreements. We signed last evening an MOU with the UAE, and they have pledged to help us rehabilitate the Cuba Children's Hospital and several other developmental projects. So we've been very successful in the bilaterals with Kuwait, with the UAE. We have agreed to assist us with development funding for every area: national security, food security, infrastructure development. So we have some good news to take back to Trinidad and Tobago.
I see why Kid Rowley really loved going away, you know, all that nice treatment our Prime Minister does get. Anyway, I want to know who does do the Prime Minister videos. Hey, listen, I put on my application. I feel like I can do it better. Not that I want to travel. Yes, I do. 100%. But I honestly feel like I can do it better, you know. I honestly feel so. Watch this video now. Watch this video. Watch that video. Look at the quality. I feel like I could do it better. This video was bad, boy. Watch that video now, boy. Oh, God. I feel like I could do it better. But anyway, before somebody do some foolishness here on this Saturday, Trinidad and Tobago, I go on. End the show. End it. Go away. I go on. I go on. Thank you so much for joining. And I will see you back here on Wednesday, God's willing. But no, for real, Kamala, my application now there. Check your email. I go on.